What's up, Sagittarius? This is Jesse with 44 Astro with a new moon tarot reading for the new moon coming up on May 7th. This is going to be in Taurus at 18 degrees Taurus. It's going to be 11:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will put it in the fourth mansion of the moon. I'll put a picture of the fourth mansion up. It's all about working and overcoming obstacles. It's not really good for marriage, so hopefully nobody's planning a marriage under this moon. The astrology, everything is in Taurus and Aries right now, except for Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. Pretty much everything else is in those two signs. So wherever that falls in your natal chart house-wise, you would want to look at that. If you're a Sagittarius ascendant, and I am, you're talking your 5th or 6th house. Ooh, right there's the card. So 5th house is the house of gambling. And we have all kinds of planets in Taurus. So we're talking money in a house of gambling with Uranus touching Jupiter there. So like lightning. So it's, I mean, I'm not saying go gamble or anything, and the odds are stacked against you. But if there was ever a time to win big, it'd be with this alignment. It's definitely possible. I wouldn't say go pour your life savings into it. Like, it's definitely stacked against you. But it's possible for some of you. You might end up with a big win. If you're a gambler already, you might end up with a big win. Because the sun's there, the moon's there, Venus is there, Uranus is there, Jupiter's there. So yeah, I'd also be careful about harsh communications right now. 6th house is physical health, so you actually might be really motivated to get physically healthy. Because Aries is also lit up pretty big. That's a physical sign. Sexual expression could be really prominent right now for many of us. 5th house can also be that. It can be sexual expression because it's self-expression. It can be done in different ways. And with Pluto touching Mars, that strong aggression could be sexual energy, but could also manifest as anger. And Mercury is in Aries, so that's fiery, aggressive communication. And it's touching Chiron, so it could be communication that would wound. But it also could be communication that wounds, but brings forth something that makes it, or that brings forth a resolution or healing, even though it wounded at first. That type of thing. We learn really well through catharsis as people. But yeah, it wouldn't be surprise me if some Sagittarius ascendant hits big, some kind of gamble. And it doesn't just mean gambling in general, but it could also be like stocks, like speculative ventures, anything that you took like a risk on. That's ruled by the 5th house. And so with all those planets there, especially with Jupiter, the Sun, the Moon, Venus, and with Uranus conjuncting Jupiter, that's lightning, like sudden, because that's what Uranus is. It affects your nervous system too, and it's lightning. It's like sudden things happening, and then Jupiter's expansion, and then it's in a house that could be money, and a sign that is definitely money, Taurus. So, but don't go gamble, okay? It's stacked against you. I'm just saying, for those of you that already gamble, you may end up actually finally hitting, right? If it's something that you do and it's during this time, or just some kind of risk you took on something pays off to you in a big way, that kind of thing. But yeah, with that being said, let me get to your cards. Sagittarius, time to take action. Well, considering you're crowned by this card, it's definitely time to take action. Some kind of message or communication coming, or you're spreading the message of something. The core of your reading is the sun. And let me tell you something. The sun in Sagittarius is a wonderful thing. The sun in Sagittarius is a very nice placement. That's the placement of fame. By far, the most famous sun sign is Sagittarius. It's the sign of Jupiter with the sun there. So this is the spotlight right here. This is the light shining. And it's crossed by a marriage. Maybe some of you are going to get married. Or like a celebration, some kind of happy home card. I mean, that crossing that, it doesn't seem bad to me at all. It seems very good, unless it's like in some way your home life is holding you back from being in the spotlight, or you feel like being attached to like a family or this or that is like keeping you from expressing yourself the way you would want to. The only reason I would say that is because in the near future, you're chained to something, or you feel chained to something. But this doesn't have to be a person, right? It can be a habit. It can be a way of thinking. Anything like that. Anything that's detrimental to you that you're like kind of chained to and you can't break, or you feel like you can't break away from. But like you about to be shouting something from the rooftops, or you're about to be getting a message. I mean, in your unconscious influences, it seems like you've been planning. You have a plan, and something may set that off. Like maybe you have like this. Well, if this ever happened, then I would do this, and like then it does happen, and you're like, well, and he's like, okay, I guess I have to do this now, kind of thing. Like I never thought I'd have the ability to do this, but now I do. I mean, that's a Sagittarius kind of thing right there. I mean, behind you, you made this judgment, like you made this decision. You're like, if this happens, like maybe you're like, oh, if I ever get famous, I'll do this, that type of thing. Or if I won the lottery, I'd do this. You know what I mean? And like you never expect it to happen. And I'm not saying these things are going to happen. That's very rare to happen. But it can manifest like that if thinking in your head, right? And you could be a slave to those types of thoughts. And that's what this is saying. And Sagittarius are eternally optimistic, so it definitely could be the case. But you made a decision about something. And it definitely could have been about your home or about some kind of celebration or a marriage even. You may be tying yourself down. And maybe you're having second thoughts about getting married now. Could also be the case. I mean, it can manifest that way because this could be a wedding card. And this can also be a wedding card. You're planning something out. Maybe you're planning your life together. I don't know. But it shows you like feeling chained down. And Sagittarius feel chained down most of the time anyway, because Sagittarius wants to be moving. They want to be traveling. They want to be experiencing. They want to be having adventures. They want to be feeling good. That is Sagittarius to a T. And it's like, that's what this is. This is a Sagittarius card. Like, fiery moving energy. That's what Sagittarius is. Mutable fire. So I'm not exactly sure how this is manifesting. You made some kind of decision. Some kind of judgment was made. And like, in some way you think like maybe getting married or even going to this wedding or going to whatever this celebration is, or attaching yourself to this, whatever this is, this group of people is, or this celebration is, in some way you feel like that's not what's best for you. Because this is how you feel right now. You feel overburdened. You feel overworked. You feel like a lot of pressure is being put on you. Maybe a lot of pressure is being put on you to do this specific thing, and you don't feel like you really want to do it. Like a lot of expectations, like maybe you're really good at something, or you kind of, Sagittarius is kind of just shine anyway. It's what they do. They stand out, I would say. And because of that, it's like now all these people are like putting all these responsibilities on you or all this expectation on you. You're like, yo, man, I just shine like that because I was happy and having a good time. And when Sagittarius are happy and having a good time, a lot of things tend to go their way, especially if they're feeling good. And then now you're like, well, now it doesn't feel as good because now there's all these stipulations on it. Like there's all these levels of control, and I'm feeling like kind of strapped down to it now, and it doesn't feel as good. And, and that I know that feeling because I'm heavy Sagittarius. That sucks when you feel like that. No doubt about it. And your environment's victory. Like it's some kind of great victory that you had. But just because it's a victory, it doesn't mean it makes you necessarily feel great. It can make you feel burdened in some way or overly responsible for something specific, right? Even if maybe it is fame in some way, or you're not huge fame, but just recognition in some way. And now you kind of feel chained to this image. And like, even though you're doing your best to feel victorious and you look victorious, it's kind of a burden. You're feeling a little overworked, and you feel like there's a lot of attention and pressure on you. So it's worrying you. And you're like, ugh. But that's what comes with the territory, sadly. If you are going to have lots of money, or you're going to have lots of attention on you, whether it be on a grand scale or just even just like a local scale, a lot of people paying attention to you and knowing you. And that could be on all kind of different scales, right? A few hundred people, a couple dozen people, a few thousand people. With the internet, millions of people. You know what I mean? There's going to be this associated with it, for sure. Worry. And this is going to be associated with it, like burden. This is going to be associated with it. There's nothing to stop that. And the center of the reading is the sun. That is fame. Or that's the light shining on you, right? So maybe there's something you said or the way you communicated blows up in some way, maybe viral. We're all on social media nowadays. Maybe something you said, something you did, something you posted blows up, and now you feel chained to it. It's definitely possible. But the outcome is opportunity, movement. If you can work through the worry, feeling chained to and burdened to whatever this is here. There's opportunity and money here. For sure. Like if that's what you're after, that's what you want. But with Sagittarius, it's not really so much about wanting money. It's more about the freedom that it presents, the freedom. And Sagittarius want to feel free. They're good at being famous, but they really need to feel good and like also feel free to express themselves in the ways that they want. Because if they feel chained in any way, it can hamper how they feel. And then like as a result, you know, you'll see how things tend to change around them as your influence changes because you feel a little different. So, you know, but it's saying it's time to take action. So step forward, go ahead, go after it, you know. If it is a wedding, it's, you know, it's saying take action. If you're trying to get out of a wedding, take the steps to get out of the wedding. If it's like attention or fame on you in some way, or some like social event where you're going to be the center of attention, like you have to do a speech or just in some way you have to, you're like the host or anything like that. I mean, I've had to do stuff like that. That's in the life of Sagittarians. That's going to be a common thing where you're the one that's going to be like in the spotlight in some way. Leos too, Aries too, fire signs. That's kind of what it goes. Specifically Leo and Sagittarius though, but a lot of Aries too. You just got to kind of don't feel so chained to it. Don't worry about it. Sagittarius are natural. They're going to do good. They're going to look good. They're going to feel good. And they're going to be funny and charismatic and all those things. You just got to flow with it and be confident. Don't worry about it too much like this. Just be yourself. Be the normal, confident, happy-go-lucky individual that you probably are. And you'll be surprised how it just flows and everybody is having a good time. Or that it just works out, because that's how it tends to work with Sagittarius. Things just kind of work out. As grim as they seem, things always work out. Good old Jupiter. Alright, Sagittarius, that's all I have. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I would love to continue to create content. And to do that, I really need to get some watch hours. Comments really help. They really do. So does likes. That'll push them forward. It'll give me my more watch hours. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I would really appreciate it. Either way, I'm just grateful for the view, and I'm glad that you're here, Sagittarius. Hope to see you here again. Happy New Moon.